What is a wild woman? A wild woman is a woman who is open, authentic, and especially in her body. The Wild Women Symposium is an event that has been going on for over 2 years in Salt Lake City, Utah, and the surrounding area, where we take facilitators from all over the place and we bring them together to teach women embodiment practices, feminine embodiment practices, to get them in touch with their feelings, their emotions, their physical health and well-being. And it's an experiential weekend that propels women to these incredible new levels of awareness. We consider ourselves sort of a tribe of wild women that are supporting each other and opening. My name is Suzanne Wagner, and I'm one of the founders of the Wild Women Symposium. You can find us at www.wildwomensymposium.com. And today I have with me my dear friend from over 30 years ago, Cathy Pollock, who is going to be one of our facilitators at the Spring Symposium, which will be April 1st through 3rd, 2016. Hi, Cathy. How are you?
Morning, Suzanne. I'm great. Really happy to be here.
I am so happy you are going to come. I have been waiting for this moment for so long. So Cathy and I go way back, all the way to workshops when I was in my 20s, and we were young and growing, and she has become this amazing facilitator through her experience, and she has an incredible history because she's been an adventurer, and she's been a mountain climber, and she's been a skier, and she's been this body worker, and she has lived the life of showing the power and the potential and the beauty and the fluidity that is the feminine flow. So Cathy, I want everybody out there to kind of get to know you a little bit. So tell us about you.
Sure. Well, I have been studying this work and studying myself for now almost 22 years. And just to give you a brief story of how I got involved, we all have a signature of being. A signature of being in the world, a way of moving, a way of walking, a way of speaking, a way of just expressing ourselves. And my particular signature was that everything that I did, I would overdo. So I ended up in martial arts, and not just doing martial arts, but I overdid it. So I brought with my feminine a very masculine way of being in the world, forceful. And in the end, I would end up hurting myself quite a bit. I went through some changes after divorce in late 80s, and as it always catalyzes change in a person's life, I started to look at, what do I want to do now? Where do I want to go? And I got very, very interested in mind-body connection, especially as it related to something physical, because it was something I could understand. So when I went into martial arts, Aikido, I soon realized that I was using too much effort to do everything, too much muscular power, too much forcing. And long story short, I ended up studying with my sensei's wife at the time, who had studied to become an Alexander Technique teacher in San Francisco. And what I learned over time, over these last 22 years, was that I could move through life with so much more grace, so much power, but also in a way that honors myself, so that I was no longer hurting myself, and I could come to the present moment to see what I was actually doing, how I was responding to everything in life, rather than reacting to it in my old pattern of just bullying my way through.
That's wonderful. That's wonderful. I mean, because, I watched you explode. You started doing the Alexander Technique and you just exploded into this gentle essence. I mean, I remember going up and seeing you up in where were we? I think we were in Wyoming at the time, and you were a force of nature. You were this amazing force of nature. And to see you now, it's like how you're deep in your body, you're deep, you're soft, you're feminine, you're gentle, there's so much permission in your energy field. It's a beautiful thing to see. So tell us about this class you're going to be teaching at the Wild Women Symposium, because you're going to do a double class. So you will be teaching Saturday afternoon, and it's 2 hour-and-a-half classes together. So ladies, if you sign up for her class, it's a 3-hour segment that you're going to be doing. So tell them about your class.
Yeah, certainly. It's going to be wild, for one thing. No, it won't. It'll be wild, but tempered with gentleness. So my classes are really about people getting to know themselves in a way they may not have ever done. And while we can talk about mind-body connection, really it's getting to know yourself in a kinesthetic way. So how do you relate to your body? How do you understand your body? I mean, a lot of people come to me, clients and students, and they'll say, I think I'm just here because I'm not in my body. And I said, I always say no more. I totally understand that. What does it mean to be in a person's body? So understanding that our body and our mind and our emotions and all that is one big ball, right? It's one big ball of wax. It's all of us. So when we do the Alexander technique, it's more of a philosophy of life. It's a psychology, it's a physical entity. It's kind of everything rolled into one. So we're going to learn about who we are, like what's our being state? How do other people see us? But also, how do we be? When someone says, how are you? It's like, oh, I'm doing great, I'm doing fine, or my life is good. But this is like the essence of us. So investigating and exploring in very playful ways, how do we respond to the world? And can we respond more easily without being reactive, so that everything that we do becomes more of a conscious choice, and learning how to create that space of consciousness in the moment so that we can have a more comfortable, easy way in our bodies and more comfortable, easy relations with people and being in the world itself.
I think this is so important, because I think that if you're not comfortable in yourself, if you are holding an energetic pattern a certain way that is based on ego, or defending yourself, or fear, that other people pick that up, and that translates into our language. I mean, I think what's going on in our body translates into our language and how they're all connected. And especially right now in the world, we're doing this video in the early part of December 2015 in preparation for the Spring Symposium in 2016. And there is so much going on right now that it's like, I wish everyone could take your class. I wish everyone could drop into an embodied place inside of themselves, where they are not in a state of reaction, that they are actually, noticing what's going on in them, but they are clear in their own center as to who they are, and they don't get pulled by the news or the drama, because they know themselves so deeply. And that's why I'm excited that you're going to be teaching this class at the Wild Women Symposium. Now, I also know that you actually come to Salt Lake, because you don't live in Salt Lake, but you actually come to Salt Lake, and you do work with people occasionally, right?
Yes, I come monthly, and I visit. I work with a lot of musicians, a lot of singers, actors, dancers, everyday people, but people who want to know more about themselves. So I visit Salt Lake once a month, and I teach for 4 days, and then I drive north to my home on the west side of the Tetons. And then I get ready for my next visit. But it changes all the time. The last time I was in Salt Lake, I worked with high school students, musicians and singers at a new charter school in Murray. I worked with the Utah Opera. I worked with Weber State University vocalists, opera singers. So it's always changing. It's like whoever is in need of my services, we make it happen.
That is so great. I love that. I mean, because for me as a dancer, I think how valuable this would have been for me if when I was younger, but we didn't have these tools and techniques back then. The best we had was Pilates, which still was pretty good,
Right.
a tremendous amount, but Pilates was in its infancy, and then all these amazing tools such as the Alexander technique have really gone forward. Now, do you have a website or a way for people to contact you?
I do, yes. The name of the website is theembodiedway.com, all together, no spaces. And people can contact me at Cathy Pollock at gmail.com.
Thank you so much, Cathy. Thank you for this interview, and I'm so excited to see you this spring.
Thank you, Suzanne. I'm really looking forward to it too.